Hello everyone and welcome to your weekly news update for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Everything we have found out about the game in the past week. Interesting information hidden away in tweets, an updated confirmed species list, and a quick rundown of all the information from the Feature Focus article, the Game Informer article, and yesterday's livestream. The topics, at least most of them, are on screen right now. We have so much to get into this week, so let's just get started. I will go through everything as concisely as possible and stick to the facts. No theorizing allowed here. If you like having your information organized like this, subscribe to the channel. I'm bundling everything to avoid spamming you with a dozen videos a week, but of course I will still bring you the big news as soon as it comes out. We're starting today with some short Twitter tidbits based on questions I've gotten over the week. There is no release date announced yet. There are no plans to bring the game to Switch, but it is coming to PS4 and Xbox One, as well as next-gen consoles. There are 4 game modes: Sandbox, Challenge Mode, Campaign, and Chaos Theory Mode. And development for Jurassic World Evolution 1 has officially stopped. They are only doing bug fixes. The entire development team has been moved over to the sequel. Logical, but still something that needs to be said out loud because people are still expecting some things from the first game. Speaking of that first game, it is currently on sale, 75% off, including all of the DLCs. So especially if you are a PC player and you don't have the game on PC yet, I really recommend that you get it, even with Jurassic World Evolution 2 on the horizon. Something important and slightly worrisome to note is that during his 30-minute hands-off demonstration of Jurassic World Evolution 2, Andrew Reiner did not see any decorative items, benches, or trash bins. Instead, he refers to the items that are attached to the buildings, which we have some level of customization of. Hopefully, that is just something he wasn't shown during the short demonstration, and we will still get individual decorative items. But so far, no positive signs yet in that regard. As said, we got a highlights livestream yesterday. They aim to do these once a month on the last Friday of the month, so mark your calendars. While it is mostly highlights, they did sneak in some new information and released a new species field guide for the Amargasaurus. I dissected the entire species field guide in a separate video, so if you want to check that out, you can find it on the channel. Frontier also released a little article for the Amargasaurus with some information about the real animal, but more importantly for the purpose of this video, some info about how it will behave in the game. Amargasaurus is comfortable alone or in small groups of other individuals. They require a moderately sized enclosure with plenty of plants and greenery. Being sauropods, they only eat greens and leaves, but won't reach the tallest treetops because of their size. They get along well with other herbivores and are generally peaceful dinosaurs that should be fairly easy to take care of. Back to yesterday's livestream. They were very secretive about a person coming to do voiceover work for the game while the announcement at Summer Games Fest was happening, so it looks like a surprising person might appear in the game. Frontier has the people who worked on the first Jurassic World Evolution working on the sequel, but they also have new people on the team who give them new perspectives. Overall, the sequel focuses on 4 key areas and aims to push the frontier on all of these areas. They said they want everything to be a big leap forward, a big improvement. They are building on the foundation of the original, but are working to make everything much better. The 4 key areas are authentic narrative, enhanced creativity, deeper management, and realistic dinosaurs. The narrative is a completely original story that takes place after the events of Fallen Kingdom and sort of marries the history of the movies with the history in the game. It does acknowledge that we've been building on Penna and Tucanio and all the other islands, which was kind of an alternative universe to what happens in the movie universe, but it still lines up with where the story in the movies is going. That does mean there is a bit of a fuzzy time jump between the events of the first game and the events of the sequel. They mentioned like 5 or 10 years. During campaign, we will be dealing with the crisis of the escaped dinosaurs, and we won't so much be building pretty theme parks as facilities to deal with those escaped dinosaurs. We will also be focusing more on dinosaur welfare than the entertainment of our guests. Chaos Theory takes us through key moments in the movies, but with a twist. Challenge mode is described as classic challenge mode, but a bit more interesting and different. It will still have the different difficulty levels, and we will still be getting contracts. Contracts are no longer a thing in campaign mode though. Of course, the final mode is Sandbox, where we get to build the dinosaur parks of our dreams. Now back to the 4 key areas for improvement. We've discussed the narrative element, and next is enhanced creativity. We get a lot more extra tools and functions for customization to build that dream park. Third is deeper management. They describe giving us more levers and more things to do. For both of these, there is a lot more information coming later in the video, so don't worry about that. Fourth is realistic dinosaurs. They really want to give us creatures that feel real and natural. We're getting new behaviors, new social interactions, and new animations. New dinosaur species have been built from the ground up, so presumably that means no copy-pasted animations recycled across species. Returning dinosaurs have been updated not just to look better, but to also take into account new scientific information. The variety in both skin and pattern colors has dramatically increased, a lot more options for the players to customize their dinosaurs. They've mentioned small behaviors to add to the dinosaur's realism, like cleaning and preening. All dinosaurs are gendered female, and they furthermore explicitly state that juvenile dinosaurs are not in the works. It seems this is a hope that is hard to squash in the fanbase, but they keep saying it. They are providing adult dinosaurs. We want to give you the full-grown dinosaur experience. Dinosaurs are incubated and grown to adulthood in the hatcheries and then can be released several at a time. We saw an example of this in the Species Field Guide. Dinosaurs can also be transported directly from the hatchery to their designated enclosure in the park. Paleo Botany is a core feature in Jurassic World Evolution 2. Prehistoric plants need to be added to the enclosure of the herbivores so they can feed, but these plants can just be part of the natural environment. This eliminates the need for herbivore feeders. We don't have the herbivore feeder anymore. We have these Paleo Botany plants, and you'll use these paleo plants and brushes to place them within the enclosure. If you build your enclosure carefully, you could theoretically have carnivores and herbivores in one enclosure, because the dinosaurs will have their own territory within the enclosure. There's a lot more coming on dinosaur territory later in the video. The aviary is created by placing a dome and then expanding it by adding more domes with bespoke viewing galleries and a hatchery. All of the landscaping tools that we can apply in our parks overall apply for designing the interior of the aviary. Something that excites a lot of fans is the confirmed return of Cabot Finch. Cabot Finch will be assuming a similar role as before, keeping an eye on the money. Apparently he has been divorced 3 times in the meantime. They really see him as a comedic relief, so that is what we can expect from him again. Other original characters from the first game are back as well. They didn't mention any names, but that possibly means the 3 department heads are back, since those were really the only other original characters. That was all from the livestream, but there is so much more to get into, especially when it comes to park management, customization, and dinosaur territories. Lots of interesting stuff that was covered in the articles we got during the week. Next up is a combination of the information we get from the Game Informer article and the Feature Focus article. I grouped the information based on the topic. Because there is so much information, I'm narrating a short summary, like a Cliff Notes version, while showing you the full quote on screen. I hope that's not confusing, that the words on screen are different from what I'm saying, but it's the fastest way to give you the information, namely through narration, while also showing you the quote for full transparency. You can just pause the video if you're interested in reading the full text. Anything that was also covered during the livestream I left out in this part because I've already given you that information. First, the new confirmed species are Acrocanthosaurus, Allosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Baryonyx, Camarasaurus, and the raptors. No images, they are confirmed in text only. That means this is our new confirmed species list. 15 out of over 75 species are currently known. Andrew Reiner, editor-in-chief of Game Informer, only saw these very briefly in a menu in the hatchery, so he doesn't know what they look like. For example, he doesn't know if the Allosaurus resembles the Allosaurus from the first game or from Battle at Big Rock. Interestingly, since he saw them in alphabetical order in the hatchery, Apatosaurus and Archaeornithomimus are missing, although I'm fairly sure that especially the Apato will still make it into the game in the end, but it is an interesting omission here. No theories, we have no time for theories, only for the cold hard facts. All the maps in the sequel will be a lot bigger than the maps in the original version of the game. Similar to Jurassic World Evolution 1, we go digging for dinosaur fossils to get our dino DNA. The process of creating a dinosaur is split into two phases. Synthesis, during which time we apply genetic modification to a clutch of eggs, and at the end of synthesis, we see the results of the modifications in terms of the physical appearance and behavioral traits. And second is incubation, wherein we incubate and raise dinosaurs to adulthood within the hatchery. One of the things we can genetically alter is the dinosaur's coloration and pattern. Each dinosaur has about 12 skins and 7 patterns. I did a full, or actually more like half full or half empty? I did a half video about the new skin customization, so check that out if you are a Buffalo Bill like me. As we've already covered, dinosaurs can be transported directly from the hatchery to their enclosure, eliminating the need to release and track them first. But if you do release them from the hatchery, multiple dinosaurs can come out at once. Now, why I wanted to get back to this is because Andrew Reiner describes what sounds like quite a cinematic exit animation, complete with more complicated camera moves than the current version of the game. That's not necessarily what we saw in our glimpse of the Amargasaurus exit animation in yesterday's field guide though, but I thought it was interesting to note that he describes quite a cinematic experience here. During certain game modes, we will be tasked with capturing wild dinosaurs and bringing them into our parks. As far as we currently know, the entire story is set in the United States. I will hold my judgment. Actually, no, I won't. I will not. Come on, Frontier. You're a British company. You should know that the world is bigger than North America. I mean, you conquered half the world at some point. It's kind of sad that the story is limited to the USA. Anyway, dinosaurs will form territories within their enclosure. They will explore a habitat to find an area that suits their preferences. However, the territories are dynamic, so change over time, and we have to plan our exhibits accordingly. We get more exhibit decorations to work with, such as a bigger selection of rocks. Some dinosaurs can live together harmoniously and will act as a proper herd, while other species will clash and end up fighting for dominance over the territory. Dinosaur stats can stay up while we are editing the enclosure, so you can check in real time if the environment suits their needs. No going back and forth between menus. Just like how land dinosaurs can become agitated and escape, so can the Pteranodon. Instead of just flying away, we have to recapture them. The dinosaurs have new animations for resting, socializing, walking, running, hunting, and fighting, all with the goal of making them more realistic. Certain carnivorous species, including but not limited to raptors, are capable of pack hunting. Hunting and fighting overall will be much more dynamic and improved over the current version of the game. Prey animals now stand a chance at escaping an attack, so when an attack happens, the result is not set in stone as it is now. A wounded animal can be treated in the field by the new mobile veterinary unit, which takes care of minor injuries. If an animal is severely wounded or deathly ill, it needs to be transported to the Paleo medical facility. Remote ranger posts keep track of dinosaur welfare. You have to check in on your dinosaurs to stay on top of their well-being. Guests have needs. They have 4 personality categories that need to be satisfied through the kind of dinosaurs and attractions that you have in your park: adventure, standard, nature, and luxury. Guest buildings can now be customized. We have preset options that we can add to the pre-made buildings. We choose which purpose the building serves and what the building looks like. This includes selecting colors for the individual parts of the building by way of a color wheel. I've done a full video of this. At the time it was just a theory, but it is now basically confirmed. This paragraph is exactly what I said in that video, so if you're interested in more in-depth discussion about the customization and how that would work, check out that video, it is linked above. The building customization applies only to guest buildings. Frontier clarified that on Twitter. So we will not be altering our Paleo medical facility, for example. We will have time controls, allowing us to pause or fast forward outside of crisis situations when the function will automatically be disabled. Northern Hemisphere parks will be dealing with snowstorms. Wow, that was a massive info dump. I hope that you enjoyed this weekly news updates and having everything organized like this. I do have to set the record straight a little bit. It appears some people thought that me doing weekly news videos on Saturdays meant that I wouldn't be covering Jurassic World Evolution 2 videos during the week at all. But as I said last Saturday and today as well, big news, like the Game Informer article, like the feature focus, like the species field guide, will of course still get their own videos. I hope the result is like a happy medium that keeps you fully in the loop on all of the developments without, getting 12 videos a week. If you're down with that, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications, because YouTube can't be trusted. You didn't hear this from me. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, enjoy the anticipation!